Picture Show with Rahim Khan, and today I am reviewing Ric Roman Waugh's and Jason Statham's latest action thriller, Shelter. This is, I believe, Jason Statham's best Bourne impersonation because the story follows a very similar line. But one thing I have to say about Statham is that I appreciate the fact that he is one of the last action heroes, sort of inheriting the mantle of the likes of Stallone and Schwarzenegger and, Bruce Willis and all of those guys. And every year, on schedule, we get a new film from him. But one thing that I don't like, and this is the point that I'm trying to build up to, is that he introduces these for example, let's go back to, what was it called? The Bee-Man? The Hive Keeper? What is it called? Oh God, I'm forgetting the name of that movie. It'll pop up here, of course. So, it's a story that follows, along very similar lines. I mean, these stories are very one-track in the sense that it's about this guy who is an elite special forces, best of the best type killer, okay? And for whatever reason, I guess the reason being that he's killed far too many people, he is now jaded, he is disgruntled, he feels that he finds more comfort in being a man very salt of the earth, so he becomes a beekeeper or whatever, or in this case in Shelter, he goes off and lives on an island, man in a lighthouse, and invariably, much like Al Pacino in Godfather 3, he gets sucked back in. But the point that I'm trying to make is that he's creating all of these different properties, right? But there's no follow through. I actually liked that last one, The Beekeeper. God, I keep on forgetting the name. I actually liked that one. Where's the sequel? Or, instead of creating new ones, because I think right after that there was another one. I think he played was he like a carpenter or something like that? And now in this he's a lighthouse watchman or something like that, or just a recluse on an island. So the thing is that I want to see more follow through from this guy. I want to see this guy actually build a franchise. I want him to, for example, Keanu Reeves with John Wick. We got the first one, it became a hit. 2 was even bigger, 3 and 4 and all of that stuff. And it spawned this entire cinematic universe. I would like to see this guy do the same thing. Like these throwaway thrillers, which I have to say is what Shelter isn't doing this guy too much justice. I like him. Of the bald actors in Hollywood, no offense to, of course, those who are not as blessed as others, but I like him more than I would say I like Vin Diesel or The Rock, right? And he does that whole laconic, tough guy, thing. He does it well. But this movie, very quickly, should you watch it in the cinema, should you stream it, or should you skip it? I think you could skip this one. It doesn't really say anything new or do anything different. There's nothing really in this that warrants, very frankly, its existence. Despite the fact that it has a director who I've come to like after, Greenland 1 and then Greenland 2, which I recently reviewed, Ric Roman Waugh. I like this guy. But the movie is competently made, but there's just not enough. Like the action scenes, you've seen them all before, very disposable. There's a chase scene here, there's a chase scene there. In this case, he develops this relationship with this girl who I still don't know if may or may not be his daughter. So in this case, he is, of course, this elite, best of the best, killer of killers, who used to work for MI6 in this special program called Black Kites, much like, for example, Jason Bourne. And one mission, he decides to grow a conscience, and he doesn't complete the mission, which means killing the person in question. And he goes off the reservation, and he's been hiding ever since. Now, of course, MI6 and the UK PM, as well as the head of MI6, are up to no good. They have this sort of all-seeing algorithm, and what's it called? That kind of pings him, and so sets into motion this entire thing of this guy trying to get the girl who's invariably sort of like, caught up in this mess to safety, thus shelter. And he has to sort of get back to doing what he does best. But again, there's nothing new about this movie. We've seen this movie 100 times before. In fact, we've seen Statham do this 1,000 times before, which is why I think instead of this guy going on and sort of like, making these new things, like sort of, this is a new character who's invariably named Mason or whatever. Let him go back to something that he's already done and build on that. The action, as I said, I've seen far, far better. There was, I don't think there was any standout scenes for me. So, yes, I was there in the cinema watching it, and I guess my time was spent pleasantly enough, but I wanted more. I don't want to see him keep on doing these movies. So, if, very unlikely though, he ever sees this review, I hope he takes this advice to heart. That's Shelter from Jason Statham.